What if I told you about the northernmost point of land in the world? Well, the northernmost undisputed point of land in the world is called Kaffeklubben Island, or Coffee Club Island, which is north off the northern shore of Greenland, which would totally make sense. It is the northernmost undisputed point of land in the world. Now, as far as where is the southernmost point of land in the world, that much is crystal clear. It is the South Pole, because the South Pole is on land, and it's in the middle of the Antarctic continent. But the northernmost one, that's a little bit more contested sometimes. Kaffeklubben Island is about half a mile north. The northernmost point is about half a mile north of that of Cape Morris Jesup, which is the northernmost point of mainland Greenland. But Kaffeklubben Island is about half a mile north of there. It was discovered by the famous explorer Robert Peary, who was initially claimed to be the first to have reached the North Pole, but now that is contested as well. But what is not contested is that he did discover Kaffeklubben Island, and he named it for a particular coffee club back home, but it's a generic name, so this is the northernmost undisputed point of land in the world. There's, most definitely no population on it. There's no plant life on it, other than maybe a few lichens here and there. And the entire island is about 1 square kilometer, or about less than half of a square mile. Now, there are other claimants for the northernmost land in the world. However, these have appeared and disappeared over the years. So, Udak is one of them. ATOW 1998 or 1990. I think it's ATOW 1996. At the top of the world, 1996 is what that stands for. Another one is called 8342, which is 83 degrees and 42 minutes north. Now, but out of all those, Kaffeklubben is the only one that has always been found whenever explorers have come to search the area, which is very rare, because that is obviously not a very hospitable part of the world to exploration. It's less than 500 miles south of the North Pole, with an Arctic climate, and the water around Kaffeklubben Island is normally frozen, although with climate change it is starting to slowly change. So it was discovered by Robert Peary around the same time that he allegedly reached the North Pole, which was 1906. And Peary was a Norwegian explorer, and his claim to fame for many decades was that he was the first to reach the North Pole, but that came into question. Now, who was the first person to reach the North Pole? Well, it turns out it was likely the same person to reach the South Pole. Both of them were likely to reach first by the same man, and that's Roald Amundsen. And Amundsen is a Danish explorer, and he reached the North Pole in the 1920s, and of course he famously reached the South Pole in 1912 and was in a race with Brit Robert Falcon Scott. He beat Scott, and then Scott died on the way back. Amundsen was famously well prepared for every aspect of his expeditions. His North Pole adventure is no different, but Peary allegedly reached the North Pole 22 years before Amundsen did, but it turns out being a lot of doubt has been cast on that. But what is well known is that he did discover Kaffeklubben Island, and a few years after it was determined to be about half a mile north of Cape Morris Jesup, the northern headland of mainland Greenland. So this one is short, but I do want to just talk about Kaffeklubben Island, the northernmost land undisputed in the world. If you thought I was going to mention somewhere in Siberia, sadly, you are incorrect. Kaffeklubben Island or Kaffeklubben Island. Expeditions generally go there about every 5 to 10 years these days, so it's not a very commonly visited place. So anyway, that's it for this Monday edition. You folks have a good Monday. Hopefully you had a good one. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Peace out, homies.